Homes, things are, well, far worse for those whose livelihoods are compromised. Waste collectors, we talk about robot traders and car guards, they play an integral role in our society, and this lockdown is going to completely cut them off from everyday source of income. The Supplier Development Initiative has stepped in to assist. To give us more information on SDI, we're now joined via Skype by SDI co-founder Andile Ramaphosa. Sir, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Good morning. Hi, good morning, Sanbonani. How are you, sir?
Look, I'm better than most people out there. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us about this initiative. I just want to find out a bit more about it. We're talking about vulnerable people during this lockdown, those that stand at these robots selling their goods. We're talking about car guards. People are not, visiting malls as often as they want to. So people are being affected. What's your initiative all about? How do you plan to help?
Well, I think before we even get into how we're helping, let me give you some context on what SDI is about. Sure. SDI started 3 years ago. Our focus as SDI has really been to assist the smallest of the small micro suppliers or SMMEs that typically work through app platforms such as Uber, Loaded, which is deliveries, or Telljoy. These guys that we typically call the Bucky Brigade. And SDI has been doing this for years. What we do is we take these SMEs and we put them in a scenario where they can provide their services to big business. So before COVID-19 hit, we were already involved with wastepreneurs as one, which you're mentioning, which is the trolley trekkers, the people on the side of the road that collect waste. We've been working with them to formalize them and to assist them, in essence, to gain what is called job decency. And through that, in essence, the community and big business would come and support them and procure services from them in a formalized way. So SDI has really brought together the smallest of the small SMEs, linked them to big businesses. I'll give you an example of one, for instance, McDonald's. With McDonald's, before the crisis hit, we were already talking to them about instead of them outsourcing the cleaning to a big company, they would outsource that cleaning across their 360 stores to the smallest of the small SMEs, the domestics that are sitting at home today who are struggling as a result of COVID-19. So SDI has stepped up and we formed what is known as the SDI Force during this period to respond to this challenge. And we've brought together business, we've brought together our communities and SMEs. Yeah. And what we're saying is we can, in essence, enable all these 15,000 micro suppliers to assist in alleviating the effects of COVID-19.
So, Mr. Ramaphosa, let me go 2 steps back so we can follow you here in terms of how practically will this work? Do you go out there and look for people who are struggling, for instance, or can they approach you in this regard?
Well, that's a very good question, sir. So we work with app platforms such as Uber. I think everyone knows it. Sweet South, for instance, which is the domestic cleaning app. And we appeal to these small businesses to go to our enablers and to be compliant through those enablers to be able to provide a service. So an Uber driver now, as we speak, we're busy negotiating with Uber so that Uber drivers can be COVID-19 compliant and they can, in essence, help our public servants, for instance, to get to work, help them, lab technicians, be able to get to work efficiently, effectively. So our role really is to bridge the compliancy issues and to assist in bringing what is known as market access opportunities for SMEs so that they can be sustainable, they can trade even after COVID-19. And yes, this country is going to go through a difficult depression, but those SMEs are critical. We must support them. They must help them to trade through the period. Yeah. So that's our role. Beyond that then is then what you mentioned, the wastepreneurs, the poorest of the poor, the people that we pass by the robots, the guys who are living under the bridge. Many of those people, COVID-19 will affect them adversely and they will suffer the most. We want our community to put them on their back and say we're going to carry them as citizens. This is citizen activism in action. We're going to donate. We're going to help provide them with food first so that they can make it through this difficult period. Yeah. And even already we're delivering food to places like Mamoledi and now into Alex. And we really want our people to make it through. And then secondly, our message to business and to society is also consider funding SMMEs through this period. Just like you had on the news before you had me on, you've heard SMMEs are struggling. These people, 1 week or 21 days away from work is disastrous, and there's a massive impact to them on their day.
Yeah. You know, another vulnerable community during this uncertain time is the elderly. We know your work with regards to, those that are struggling to make an income. What about the elderly? How you plan to support them? Are you supporting them in any way?
Yes, indeed, we are. So through our SDI force, which I mentioned is a collaboration of business and communities and SMMEs coming together, delivering food packages to the poor, we're also delivering those to the elderly and those in need. And you'll find that many of them need the service as they struggle in their homes. And so that's how we're assisting at this point in time. But what we really believe, in order for this to be a sustainable solution, we must really look at how we do business with SMMEs. And that's the real core message behind SDI.
We need to stand together by staying apart, sir. That's the call, I guess, during this time. Physical distance, but social connection. What's your impression so far with regards to the business community? We know that the business community as well as the health community often are seemingly going head to head because both are hurting at this time. Scientists, experts in the medical field say that we need to throw in everything in order to stop the spread, but that has an effect on business. The economy is hurting. Do you think business is doing enough in order to help in the health section, in trying to stop the spread? Or do you think there's a lot of room for improvement? What's your thoughts, sir?
Well, thank you for this question. And I'll tell you outright, and it's hard for us to accept, but the reality is COVID-19 has brought about real hard economic impacts on everyone in this society, big business and small. As South Africans, we must prepare ourselves to know that our economy will retract. We will be affected, every one of us in our homes. Even as you said, people are sitting at home now are looking at what can happen to their businesses or their income as employees. We have to accept it's going to affect us. But that means we have to also come together as a community and do more. Yeah. I think we've already seen some individuals and some businesses. We work with one FNB, for instance, and RMB have come forward, and they've done what they can in terms of financially providing solutions so we can help alleviate the impact. But still, much, much more needs to be done. But we also have to fundamentally address what South Africa suffers, different to other nations like America, OECD nations, where 70% of the work is done by SMMEs on any given day, on an ordinary trade day. So if you watch your favorite TV show, you'll notice the cleaning is done by SMMEs, the work is done by SMMEs. In South Africa, only 27% of the work is done by SMMEs. We need to deal with this also fundamentally as South Africans. So we appeal to the public, and like you're asking, yes, we want people to contribute more. Yeah. At least at this time, let's make sure we can contribute the little that we have when we're sitting at home. Let's be citizen activists, right? China mobilized 50,000 volunteers in Wuhan, and that's what they did to help alleviate the impact. It wasn't just the government, but the public came in and did their best. We're saying, South Africans, do your best. When you're sitting at home this morning and you're thinking, how can you help? Go to our website. Go to sdiforce.coza. Go to unityvalues.com. Contribute what little you have and make a difference and help some people make it through the situation, providing food packs. And if you can do more as a business, consider funding SMMEs in a very real way. Help these small guys who we just heard about in the news, who are struggling to make it through the situation and to become more sustainable.
Yeah, you know what? I keep on saying this is a disrespectful virus, isn't it? It doesn't care about you or me. A lot of people are hurting because of this in more ways than one. So I guess business, all sectors of society need to come together in order to, help put paid to the spread of this virus. And we thank you very much indeed, sir, for your perspective and what you're doing in terms of helping stem the spread of this virus. All right, that was the SDI co-founder, Andile Ramaphosa. We're going to take a quick break and get you more news next. Stay with us.